Hey guys, welcome to our channel Coding with Karthik. So from now I'm starting Python Flask tutorial. So we'll have few sections to complete the course. So unlike this session we're going to discuss about overview and how to set up the environment for the Flask application, and we'll create first Flask application and we'll run it. So yeah, and before we start the session, I request you to like the videos and share the videos, and also please subscribe to our channel Code with Karthik and click on the bell icon to get the notifications. Let's begin the session. Yeah. So what is Flask? Okay, so it is web framework. So simply we can say it is Python module or library. So which helps us to develop the web application very quickly and easily. So that means we no need to have the low level, very deep level knowledge of how protocol works and how to handle the request, those stuff. Just we have to use this module. We have to use this Flask framework. By that, we can easily create the server and we can easily handle the request and we can send different type of responses. So that means it will be very easy to handle all kind of things. And we are referring Flask as a micro framework since it is designed to keep the core of the application simple and scalable. But Flask is extensible since we can have many extensions to the existing applications like for Flask application. So like suppose if you want to have the ORM, right? For any database access, so we can have extension for this. So there are a lot of like form validation extensions or to upload handling. So there are even common framework which we can use it with Flask. Okay, so that's why we are saying it as mini framework, but still we can extend that framework to to like as per our requirement. Okay, so that's why we're calling it as mini framework. Okay, yeah. Now, so before we get into the how to set up the environment and and also like how to write first application, right? First, we'll see the Wikipedia of the Flask. So by that, we'll get some understanding of few things. So then we'll jump into the setup and creating application. Okay, yeah. So here is the Flask Wikipedia. So you can check this Wikipedia. Okay, I will give this link in description. So here you can see it is micro framework and the main thing I want to discuss here. So you can check the components. That means uh, like uh, it is based on the several libraries or several modules in the Python. You can see, right, we have the different things. This is Jinja is most powerful tool to render the templates, and this is to handle the web server. It is to handle the request and protocols. Okay, and it is using all these components. Okay, and also it has features like we can debug the server and we can implement the RESTful APIs, and we have the Jinja for templating. Okay, there are many features that we can that Flask has. Okay, and yeah, so I think you can go to this Wikipedia and you can understand something about who has invented and when it was invented, and you can get some basic idea about the Flask. Okay, yeah. Now let's go into create the let's going to set up the environment for the Flask application and we'll see how it is. Okay, so for that let me share the PPT. Yeah. So here are the steps to create the setup. So yeah, first thing we have to create the virtual environment. So basically this is like suppose if you have the multiple projects, right, in your PC, in your computer. Okay, so then sometimes there might be some conflict between the libraries or modules that you're using in Python. So that means maybe your project one requires some version of the package, but project two requires some version of some other version of the same package. Okay, so then you will get some conflicts. Okay, a few might not support in older packages, right? So in that case we can use this virtual env. So it help us to create the multiple Python uh, environment for multiple projects. Okay, I mean, like for the same project we can have multiple env. So by that, what is the use, right? So let's say in the future we'll get the latest version of the some specific package which is useful for our project. Okay, then you can switch to the new NV and you can install that updated package. You can check the compatibility with the project, and if everything is okay, then you can go with the package. Otherwise, you can switch back to the older ENV and you can use the same old packages. Okay, so that is what virtual ENV. So it is mandatory because there might be a lot of conflict between the one project package to other project package. So that's why we should use this. And here anyways, for application I'm going to create one folder. So I'm just entering to that folder using cd flask app, and here I'm creating virtual env with the name env. So this can be anything, like not only you can give some other name like something env 3.0 or whatever you wanted. You can give some anything. Okay, this is just name of the virtual env. So here, so once you run this command, it will create one folder. So inside the project folder, so you can just activate that. You have to activate this env before you install any package, and to run the application you have to activate this env. Okay, so to deactivate, just you have to run the deactivate command. So for linux or mac you have to use this source and activate. For windows you can directly run this under scripts. You have the activate script, you can run that script. Okay, so finally we'll install the flask and we'll run the application. Okay, let me do step by step, so then you will understand how it works. Okay, so let me open vs code now. So here is my vs code. So now let's set up the environment for a Python application. Then we'll create the first application using Flask. Okay. So for this, so I'm going to create one folder inside this as we shown in the PPT slide. So for that, I'm just going to create one mkdir flask underscore app. Okay. So it will create the folder. Now, just I will get into this folder flask underscore app. So now I'm inside this folder. Okay, flask underscore app. So but we have to install like a virtual env so in your system. So for that I will run this command. Okay, pip3 install. So now this is done. So you can use pip but have the pip3 version, so that's why I'm using pip3, but otherwise you can directly use the pip install virtual env. So now, so inside this, so that means this installation is in your PC, so it is not specific to the project, it will be for the entire your PC. Okay, so now inside this first tab, so let me create one virtual env for this first tab project. Okay, so for that I will use, so let me clear this console. For that I will use virtual env space, we have to give the name for the env. Okay, so virtual env, I'm just giving the env name. Okay, now see, so inside the flask app folder we can see the env folder. Okay, now I'm going to activate that using our command source env slash bin slash activate. Okay, source env slash bin slash activate. So now we are inside this env. So you can see, right, that terminal is showing the env. That means we are inside the env. Now whatever the module we are going to install, so that everything will be under this env. Okay, now we are going to install the flask. Pip install flask. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, now flask also installed. Okay, now we have done with the setup. Now we are going to create one file for the server and we'll run that file. Okay, now let me here, so inside the flask app let me create one file app.py. Okay, so here I'm going to copy paste some basic code, so then I will explain one by one. So here in the Wikipedia, so we have this example, so I'm just copy paste the same example now. Okay, so here is a vs code app.py. Yeah, first line we are just we are importing the flask class from this flask module. So this is just importing the module. Okay, and importing the class from the this Flask module. Okay, now here we are creating the app instance using the Flask class. So that means app is nothing but instance of the Flask class. Okay, here we are passing the name, so which is built-in parameter in Python, so which refers to the current file. So actually this is required for Flask to identify the root path of the application, and it will be useful for template rendering and static files rendering. So since Flask has to know where is the file locations, right? So that's why we have to pass this argument. Um, so this is how it works. Okay, and next here is the routing of the main base routing for the application. So we have given the app.route of slash, and here is the definition for this to handle this routing. Okay, here I don't think so we no need to have this, so we can just we can have this. Okay, now so if you see this, right, so 1 second. Yeah, so next here we're just so inside this main node we this will return this simple string hello world, okay, which will be rendered to the front end. Now here we have given the condition name equal to main. So why we are giving this, right? Since we are going to run this whenever we run this app.py, right? So from the terminal, so then name will be the underscore double underscore main double underscore. So that's why we are checking this condition, and if it is meant, then it will run this app. So that means if we import this app into the other Python file or module, so if you run that file, right, then it should not run this, right? So that's why whenever we run this app.py directly, then only it will be executed and it will start the server. So otherwise you have to start the app from the file wherever you are importing this app module. We'll see that also, but for now I'm going to run this. So by default it will run on 5000 port, but I'm going to change that port to some 3000. Okay, yeah. So here I'm going to give port equal to 3. That means it will run the application 3000 port. Otherwise, it will run a default port 5000. Okay, and we are giving the default. I'm going to give the true, since we can see the some logs. So if we get an error, we can see that. Okay, in production we don't take it, but for our local development, and we should keep this debug true flag. Now let me run this using Python. So I'm going to run this. Let me, yeah. I will use Python space app.py. See, now it is running, right? So let's open this in our browser. So I'm just opening it. See, it is running all over, right? So this is how. Since we have given the debug flag, right? If we change anything in the server, it will just automatically restart, and we can see the changes in the uh, browser. Okay. So let me go to the VS Code now. So here, suppose if I say, right, so hi, so welcome to coding with Karthik. So whenever I save this, right, so you can see, so it is restart the server again. So if you see the output in the browser, right, let's see the output now. So if we see, hi, welcome to coding with Karthik. So that is use of debug. So that means we don't to restart server every time whenever we make some changes. So it will get restarted automatically whenever we save some files in the server side. So this is how debug mode works, and this is our first Flask application. Okay, now so here we'll see, right? So I said like we can import this app into other file, and from there we can run it, right? So let's see that approach also. So here I'm going to create new file. Let's say I'll just create server.py. So from app, right, and just import the app. Okay, here also we'll use the same code as this. Okay. So here that means we are importing this app variable from the app instance from this app module. So here where whenever we run this file, then only we should run this app, right? So that's why we are giving this name equal to main. So it will run this application. So let's see this. Okay, first let me remove this. What happens if I don't give this? Okay, in the app.py. So now if I run the python, so that let's see. So it is running. Okay, yeah. So but if I don't give this condition, right? So let me say this. So that means, well, if we don't give this condition, if we run this in app.pivot, so let's see that what is happening. So python server.pivot. So here actually should running. Okay. So here you are thinking, right? So it is able to run the application without any issue, even if you import like this. But here there's one issue, so we have to identify. So for that, let me change this port to 4000. That means what are the application running from here, right? App.py, it will run on 4000 port, but the application that is running from the server.py using the port 3000. Okay. So now let me use this Python. Oh, let me use Python. What is this server.py? Okay. Now see here the application is run 4000 port. That means it is not considering this one. It is considering the app.py command. Since we haven't put any conditions, so that's why it is running. So but here we have the but it was already running, so that way it's not running again. Okay. So that's why we have to put this condition. So by that, sorry, we have to put this condition. So that means let's see now. So if I run this, right, so if I rerun the server now, see now it is running on 3000 port. So that means here we are running the application only when the name equal to main. That means when we run that file directly, right, then only it will run the application. Okay. So here this command is not running now, since we have that condition. Okay. So this is how we have to use this condition to run the app properly. So that means either we can run the current file, or we can import this app into the other file and we can run it from there. So I think that's it for the session. So in the next session we'll discuss about routing. So we'll see like how to do the routing in Flask, and what are the ways to do, and how to handle the HTTP methods. So we'll see all those topics in the next session. So see you soon.